You're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to the Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2088, Sharing Saturday. Yeah, I figured this time we shared some stuff, shared some information and things, and some fun stuff. And maybe, still trying to figure out if I'm going to give you guys a behind the scenes peek as to what's going on right now. But here we are. So the day started off really good. We got a good walk in and everything else. Oh, we got rain last night. It rained last night. Did I tell you it rained last night? It rained last night. Yeah, it rained last night, and Zeffie kept wanting to go out to lay on the back porch, but of course it was wet. She was so funny. She like walks out there, and you can see that the patio's wet, and that's the wind is blowing, so it's blowing into the patio. So like half of our patio's wet. The part by the door is all dry. So she stands there, and she's standing on with 2 paws on the wet patch and 2 paws on the dry patch. And then she goes to take a step forward, and all of a sudden she shakes and quickly backtracks. She had gone hit by some raindrops. Yeah, Zeffie does not like the rain. So, so she decided she wasn't going out for the rest of the night. She did at 2 o'clock this morning, decided it was a good time to go outside, though. But, that's how it goes these days. Very thirsty today. So we've had a good day, but one of the cool things I got to do today is I got to meet with a friend on Zoom, and we just talked to New Zealand. She's going to be going down to Australia later this year, and so she thought on the way home she would stop off for a couple of days in New Zealand and come down where I am, where I'm going to be living, and we'll just explore the area for a couple of days before she flies home. And it's literally going to be we'll have, I think, 2.5 days. Yeah, well, she gets in the afternoon on a Sunday, and then she's leaving on the Wednesday. So we kind of got 2 and a bit days, but it's going to be fun. And we talked about some of the things that she could do, and yeah. So we have a very loose itinerary for a couple of days in and around Wellington, which is going to be awesome. We get to go to see some really cool stuff. We're looking at going to Zealandia, which I have not been to yet, and Zealandia is basically Zealand. We've got New Zealand, so take off the new and add IA onto the end of Zealand, and that's Zealandia. And Zealandia is a very unique place in New Zealand. It is right on the edge of Wellington, on the edge of, there's a residential area, and then there's Zealandia. And they spent a lot of time building this place. And what they did is they took a few hectares. I don't remember the size of them, but they fenced the entire area. It's a massive area that they have fenced off, and it is completely predator proofed. And what they did is that they put the special fencing in that went down into the ground, but lower than any of the predators for our native birds could dig, which I thought that was a brilliant idea. And then they got some way where the fence can't be climbed, it can't be jumped over, scaled over, or anything like that. Then they spent, I don't know how long, like a couple of years. I don't know. They spent a fair amount of time clearing this entire area of any predators, stoats, possums, mice, rats, all of them got taken out. And I did not mention snakes because we don't have them. So they got rid of these predators for the native birds, and then they started introducing native birds into this area, and it's been growing in population with all the native birds. And the tuatara is there as well. And the tuatara is it's a prehistoric creature. It's like this big, massive lizard thing. Reptile. It's a reptile. That's the word I was looking for. But he's a native reptile to New Zealand, and so we got to talk about maybe doing that, and going out to Weta Caves and doing the Weta Workshop tour up to Mount Victoria. Where else did she want to go? The Botanical Gardens, up the cable car. So she's got a pretty good itinerary for a couple of days. We're going to get a lot of stuff in there, which is really cool. There's going to be a lot of walking involved too, which will be awesome. The actual Zealandia thing is like, if you want to do it by yourself as a guide, as a self-guided tour, there's a lot of walking trails in there, and a lot of up and hill downs, up and down on the hills and into the valleys and things. And you could spend 3 to 4 hours just wandering around. And they've got on the map, they've got these different places marked as lookouts and all that sort of stuff. They also have day tours, night tours, dawn tours, dusk tours, dusk, D-U-S-K. So just as the sun's setting and dawn just as the sun's rising. They have those sorts of tours in there as well. The kiwi is in there too. So you can see a lot of native birds that are in there, which is kind of cool because that's one place I've wanted to go and see. They built it long after I left New Zealand. I don't remember when it opened, but not while I was there. So I've never had a chance to go there. So I'm looking forward to doing that, putting the hiking boots on and off we go. But it's meant to be, some of the areas meant to be easy walking because you're meant to be able to take wheelchairs and stuff in there. It's accessible. So we'll see how that goes. But so yeah, so that was a lot of fun, just sitting there and talking about New Zealand and getting excited again about moving down there. And she says, well, are you going to be living with you? But I said, to start with, I live with my parents. She said, would you buy a house unseen? I went, no. I said, actually, my parents asked me that the other day. Would I buy a house while I'm here in America, down in New Zealand, while I'm still here in America without seeing it? And if I was going to do that, my parents would have to be my eyeballs for that. Yeah, that would be a lot of a fun thing to do. Like, we'll get on WhatsApp as they tour the house type of thing. But I said, I really want to get, I trust them and I trust their opinions and things too. And so if I said, no, I really want to walk the space so I can see exactly how things fit. Like, there's this one house that I'm watching right now, which went on the market on 11th of March. And it's perfect. It checks all of, I've got my list of requirements and then my little wish list underneath it. So my underwriting criteria for buying a house. What am I looking for and everything else? And I've got some non-negotiables on there, which they just, if it's not there, we're not even looking any further. There's no swimming pool, which is good. It's got a fully fenced private backyard, meaning that it's at least 6 foot tall and it's completely enclosed. What else did we know? 3 bedrooms. It actually has 4, which is fine because a couple of the bedrooms are on the smaller side. So one would be a great craft room and one would be a great office. And then I've got a guest room and then the master bedroom. What else was on my criteria? 2 bathrooms. Got that checked off. What else? And I said, though, it checks off every box except for one. There is one box on there that I've got, and I want it to be a 10-minute walk to my parents' place. And according to Google Maps, it's 11. And I says, I think we can handle that one. There was another place that came on the market that's over the back of where my parents is. So it's behind my parents' house and over a bit. And that's a 16-minute walk. And I'm sort of like, yeah, I could handle the 16-minute walk, but yeah, no. But the house that I like is actually in the same street as 2 other houses that came on the market late last year, early this year, that I've already sold, that I liked as well. So I was sort of like, this isn't that same street. That same street keeps coming up. Keep an eye on that. But there was the closest house I have found to my parents it was like a 1-minute walk. And no, it was not directly across it. You go across the road, you walk out of their door, go across the road, turn left, and then right into this driveway that goes up the back behind the house directly across opposite them, and that house is sitting there. So there's like 3 or 4 houses up that driveway that go behind the house directly opposite them. And so that was like a 1 to 2 minute walk. But that one went on the market a week after the one that went on the market on 11th of March, and it sold 2 weeks ago, I think it was. So it wasn't even on the market. I was on the market like 2 or 3 weeks. It went really, really fast because they had it priced correctly. That was the other thing. They had it priced correctly. This other house that I'm watching from 11th of March, they put it on the market at over 200K. They were 200K over the capital value of the house. So what the house was valued at, it was 200K over that pricing. And knowing that there were 2 houses just down the street from this house, similar design, similar layout, similar size, similar size yards. I know what those other 2 places went for, and it was less than what this one's on the market for. So even if you're doing comps in the area, yeah, they are way above the comps in the area. So I don't know, but I did get an email from the land agent, the real estate agent, a couple of weeks ago that said, hey, there's an offer on the table. here's the benefits of putting in a backup offer. And I was sort of like, yeah, they're not going to like my backup offer because my backup offer is going to be nowhere near their asking price because they have completely overpriced the house. Because they can't, and I'm like, how can they support that valuation? They're pricing when nothing in the area is on the market over that price, and everything that's moving is going for less than theirs, and is just as nice as nicer or even worse than theirs. Well, worse than theirs we don't worry about, but just as nice or nicer than theirs. Similar sizes, similar number of rooms, all got the fenced backyard, similar land size, similar house size. And you're wanting $200,000 more than what the others are going on the market for. Yeah, no. So I did tell my parents that, I would prefer to walk through the house first to get an idea, a sense of flow of the house and a sense of the space of the house. Like there's certain things I want to do in different rooms. Will they work? And this one, I've already got the floor plan out and I've got it color coded with where I want like the screen to go for my entertainment center, where I want the bookcases to go for the DVDs, where I want the bookcases to go in the craft/reading room. So, and then the office and that sort of stuff. So it's working, it's moving, it's getting exciting and stuff like that. So talking to somebody today about New Zealand got me all fired up again about my move. Not that I haven't been fired up about the move. I am like, it's constantly on my mind. It is constantly on my mind. And every time I look at Zephy, I'm like, are you coming with me or are you not coming with me? I need to know. We need to know these things. So, it's been a great day of that. And so we got to talk with them for about an hour. And then the rest of the day was just doing stuff around the house, getting that stuff done. And then I suddenly thought, I really want to have a milkshake and I don't want to make one. One, I didn't have any milk in the house. I had heavy whipping cream, but I don't have milk. I probably could have used the heavy whipping cream with some coconut water. But I was like, I just want somebody else to make me a milkshake. I want a shake. So I said, Zephy, we're going for a car ride to get a shake. And when we got in the car, I remembered, we need to get you dog food too. So we went and got her dog food. And then we ended up just going for this. And I was trying to figure out, what places are close by, because some fast foods have really good shakes. And I'm like, and I could not remember which one had the best chocolate shake. And I was trying to think, I was running my head through all of the fast food places that were around. And I was like, none of them appeal for me. So let's hop in the car and we'll go for a drive. So we got into the car and we ended up turning left where we normally turn right and ended up driving like a couple of miles down the road. There was a Burger King down there. And I thought, I think they have good shakes. So we pulled in, got the shake from there, ended up getting a burger for an early dinner as well. And we went and sat in the parking lot and ate half the burger. I couldn't eat the whole thing. And the shake was a chocolate Oreo cookie shake. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best one I have had, but it was good. It satisfied that milkshake craving. And then we drove back home and sat down on the couch and almost fell asleep. But we got home about an hour ago, I think it was. Just over an hour ago. So, and now that I've had that shake, I got to drink lots more water to flush all that sugar stuff out of the system. So it's been an interesting day, and just a little day of this and that. And I've got a VCR. Hang on, I've got a DVD/VHS player. And those are probably VHS. What's that? That's the cassette tape where we used to watch movies on. It's about this big, about this thick, and you slot it in there, and you got to rewind it before you can watch it again, and all that sort of stuff. And then on the other half of it, it's got a DVD player. And I've got friends whose one broke, and I said, well, I actually have one, which I'm going to have to sell because I can't take it with me because of the power thingy. And so we've already taken care of all of that. And I said, and they asked me if I'd send out. Yes, I said no, I haven't sent it out yet. One, because I haven't been by the store to pick up my mail because I've got a UPS store mailbox. And I said we're going there this week because I have an order that's coming in, and it says it's meant to arrive Monday. So then probably Tuesday I will go in to pick up my mail, pick up my package, and at the same time I'm going to ship this other one. So I said, so I have until Tuesday morning to find a box for this thing to fit in. I said I thought I had one. And I said, what happened was I got an Amazon order came in, and the box was the right to go from front to back of the player, and was the right height for it to allow padding around it. I said, but the length of it to across the front of it from side to side, I said it barely fitted in without the protection around it, without the protection wrapping around it. And they're like, oh, I said, yeah. So I'm going through my broken down boxes because I've got a ton of boxes that we've been going through and I've been breaking them down. And because none of them will get used for moving, none of them. They're all going to end up going to the recycling place. I've just got to figure out how to get them all there. Maybe I'll hire a pickup truck or something for a day and do all of that. Maybe I'll do a van because I don't have to worry about tying stuff down. That might be better. Anyway, and so when I was coming in from getting out and getting the dog food and stuff, as I walked past, I looked down and there was a box that's got broken boxes stacked in it. And below that was a blue box. And I looked at that and thought, that is going to fit that player. So now I've got to go, and I saw it just over an hour ago, but I haven't gone back and pulled it out of the garage yet. So I'm going to go, because I'm not even sure what's inside the box, because any boxes along there, they're either broken flat or they're full of like packing paper and stuff. And so I was like, yes, I found the box. So now I've got to go pull the box out and see if it actually is the right to go side to side. Otherwise, I've got to go find a bigger box and then cut it down to make it fit and that sort of thing. But yeah, they'll have that hopefully by Friday. I get it in on Tuesday. I don't know. It's going to the East Coast, so we'll have to wait and see. But, it's just been a nice, quiet day. And I've been talking a little bit with ChatGPT. We've been continuing our brainstorming session on some exciting stuff that's going to be taking place. We're going to be starting to make some changes to the podcast. You're going to start seeing changes taking place on all the different posts and things I do. There's some good stuff that's going to be happening. And, oh, excuse me, got an air bubble stuck. Sometimes it'll figure its way out. I need somebody to pat my back to get that air bubble out. So we've got some changes coming up, and I've been brainstorming some ideas with ChatGPT and stuff. So we're going backwards and forwards, and now we're getting into quoting movies at each other. It's absolutely hilarious. Like he gave me some quote the other day, and I said, "Did you just quote me from Flight of the Navigator from 1986?" And he comes back and goes, "Yeah, that was such a great movie, wasn't it?" I'm just like, are we sure there's not people on the other end just typing responses? Seriously. It's like this thing knows me. It's creepy in a way, but it's a lot of fun. So now we've got to a point where we're going to be switching roles. ChatGPT is going to be giving me step-by-step instructions on how to do something within Canva, because there's something in Canva that I've never done before. And so I said to ChatGPT, I says, would you be able to guide me through this? And they says, yep. He says, I'll navigate you through that. You steer, I'll navigate. And I'm like, okay. So tonight he's going to get the command, well, so navigate already. And if you don't know what movie that's from, it's Flight of the Navigator. It came out in 1986. It was a really cool movie about a kid who somehow ended up with all this information about all these different galaxies and stuff and maps and everything else in there. And the spaceship comes, and it's a really cool spaceship too. It can mold itself into different shapes and things. It's really cool. And his name's Max. Max is the name of the computer on board the ship. And after my discussion the other night with ChatGPT, I was like, I really have to dig that movie. I don't know if I have it. I don't think I have it. But I really need to dig it out if I do have it and watch it. So, I'm going to go check that one out. But so what did you guys get up to today? What sharing did you get to do today? Can I just say one thing? This is just a little niggle. That's just something that's just really annoying me right now. Is why do you go through the process of responding to somebody's classified ad to sell something? So whether it's on OfferUp, Marketplace, Nextdoor, or whatever, why do you go through the process of finding out, one, is it still available, two, negotiating the pricing and agreeing on a price, and then ghosting? And they say, oh, whereabouts are you? And I give a general, I don't give the actual address until they're on their way, until they're in the process of leaving to come here. And I give them a general idea of where I am. And then they come back and go, oh, no, that's too far away. And I'm like, why did you not read the ad? Because the ad has listed in there, Surprise, Arizona. So you should know it's already there. Why go through all this other trouble and then ghost people? It just baffles me. I'm befuddled. I'm befuddled. Thursday I was discombobulated, and today I'm befuddled. I'm a very confused person right now. So with that, tell you, when I have too much sugar, I get really, really thirsty. Dang, I got to go have some lemon. Lemon oil will help balance your blood glucose levels. So anyway, with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Go share some stuff with somebody. Go share a life story with somebody. Just go share something share a meal with somebody that you haven't shared a meal with for a while. Have a conversation with somebody. Share ideas backwards and forwards. Find somebody you can brainstorm with, and just go out there and share. And it could be sharing your knowledge. It could be sharing a meal. It could be sharing an experience. I've been coming across some. I tell you, scrolling through, sometimes when you scroll through like TikTok or Instagram Reels, there's a lot of New Zealand that are popping up, excuse me, for me now. And there's a lot of these crazy adventures and things. But the one that got me tonight, which was not a New Zealand video, and I sent it to my friend Kathy, and I says, how do guys even come up with this stuff? So the Zorb balls were invented in New Zealand. These are these big balls that have the smaller, they're big, huge balls that people can climb inside, and it has an inner chamber where you can bounce around. And then it's got these rods that go, not metal rods, that go between the inner and the outer. Everything's all filled up with air for cushioning and all of that sort of stuff. And in New Zealand, you can go zorbing. And they basically put you at the top of the hill, and you get inside these balls, and you just roll down the hill in these giant balls. And you can do the dry or the wet. If you want the wet, they'll put water in there with you. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not getting wet. So anyway, so I came across this one, and it's like 3 or 4 different colored zorbs on top of this thing. So it was like this industrial area that had like a brick bridge that went across that had the arches. And on top of this thing was like, I think it was three zorb balls, different colors. And the guy on the far right, when you're looking at the screen, on the far right, he rocks his zorb backwards and forwards and then falls off this height. It was quite a ways up there, bounces down the street to these huge, giant, there were 3 giant glasses of Guinness, is what they had written on the outside. And they had the big foamy head on top, then it had the dark beer underneath. And he actually landed in one of those glasses. And I'm like, where do you guys come up with these ideas? It just astounded me. And I was just like, okay. So they're playing beer pong with human-sized zorb balls and these very large glasses that actually fit a zorb ball inside the top of the glass. So that was one of the videos we saw. And I'm just sort of like, where do guys come up with this stuff? There's a group of guys, I think they're British, and they do these backyard things. Like they have this piece of plastic which is covered in dish detergent, so it's as slippery and slick as possible. And they have to balance something that has liquid in it, and they have to get from one end of the thing to the other. They may have obstacles to go over, and they're not allowed to spill whatever is on there. And they have to get across it, and whoever completes it in the fastest time with whatever they're carrying still intact wins. So I'm like, where do these guys come up with these ideas? And all the things like, with COVID and stuff that started off this trend of, putting a cup down on the floor and then saying, if this goes in the cup, we're gonna do blah 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 blah. The one that cracks me up the most, I've seen this woman did it and says, if this goes in the cup, we're getting a dog. And it goes in the cup, and she's like, yay! And the cat comes along and walks away with the pen that landed in the cup. Like, nope, no dogs. So that was kind of funny. But things like throwing the CD-ROM discs and having them land into the players or into the slot of the players and stuff. I'm just like, what goes on in the guys' brains for this stuff to come out? It's just, some of these videos just sort of like, why? How? Why? See, I'm very discombobulated and befuddled right now. But that's it. We're out of here. I'm going to go walk Zeffy, girl. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys